So, let's now talk about filing ng VAT returns. So, actually, beginning January 1, 2023, ang filing na natin ng VAT is quarterly na. Hindi na tayo nagma-monthly unlike no before January 1, 2023. So, in the previous year, ang nangyayari, nagka-file tayo ng monthly VAT and then meron tayong filing ng quarterly VAT. So, nung before January 1, 2023, sabi natin, di ba, may monthly filing and then meron tayong quarterly. So, for example, first quarter. So, sabi natin, for the month of January, for the month of February, yung deadline ng filing natin will be the 20th day or ika-20th day ng susunod na month. So, for the month of January, kung magka-file tayo ng monthly VAT return natin, ang deadline niya will be on February or not later than February 20. For the month of February naman, kailangan may file natin siya not later than March 20. And then yung sa March, which is yung last month, ng first quarter natin, doon tayo magpa-file ng quarter na VAT return. And it should be filed not later than not later than the 25th day nung subsequent month. So, in this case, April. Pero ngayon nga, beginning January 1, 2023, wala na tayong monthly, tinanggal na, and sabi, puro na quarterly. And kailan natin siya ipafile? So sabi daw, it should be filed within 25 days following the close of each taxable quarter. So kung naka-first quarter yan, and nag-start tayo, for example, ng January, kasi calendar year. So ibig sabihin, yung first quarter natin, or first filing ng VAT return for the first quarter, it should be filed not later than April 25. Kasi kailangan daw, it must be filed within 25 days of the subsequent month. So, in terms of deadline ng quarter, wala tayong changes. Ang kaiba lang talaga is ang pinaka main changes lang is wala lang tayong monthly filing. However, sinasabi ng government natin na hindi naman siya totally nawala. Bibigyan ka naman ng optional or bibigyan ka ng option. Kung gusto mo mag-file ng monthly VAT return mo, pinapayagan ka naman. Kaya lang, if you opted to have monthly filing, since hindi naman siya require, wala siyang deadline. Kung kailan mo gusto mong i-file, okay lang. Unlike, di ba, before January 1, 2023, kailangan, bago mayari February 20, ma-file mo na yung monthly VAT return mo for the month of January. Pero, beginning January 1, 2023, since di na tayo required na magkaroon ng monthly filing, and pinili mo lang or gusto mo lang talaga mag-file ng monthly VAT return, kahit kailan mo siya i-file, okay lang din. So, wala tayong deadline doon. So, meron mang penalty if di siya nakapagbayad or hindi siya nakapag-file ng February 20, wala. Kasi that is optional. What if nakaano tayo fiscal year? And sabi natin, sa fiscal year, mag-i-start tayo ng April. So, ito yung pinaka-first month natin. So, dahil dyan, ano yung first quarter natin? April, May, June. So, kung nakaano na tayo for year 2023, dito, kung magkakaroon tayo ng monthly filing ng VAT return for the month of April, walang deadline. Kung magkakaroon din tayo ng monthly filing for the month of May, still wala tayong deadline. But kapag nag-file tayo ng quarterly VAT return, for the first quarter, ang deadline niyan, it should be filed within 25 days of the subsequent month, or it should be filed not later than July 25. Not later than. So, yun yung dates natin in filing VAT return. What if nagkaroon tayo ng cancellation ng VAT registration? Sabi daw, any person whose registration has been cancelled in accordance with Section 236 of the Tax Code, they shall file a return and pay the tax due. Kailan? Within 25 days from the date of cancellation of registration. Again, kailangan nakapag-file tayo and nakapagbayad tayo ng tax due natin within 25 days from the date of cancellation of registration. Provided that only one consolidated return shall be filed by the taxpayer for his principal place of business or head office and all branches. What about naman kapag nagkaroon, paano naman kapag pinag-usapan natin kung saan natin ipa-file yung VAT return? So, sabi daw, if payment is involved, so, place of filing. So, kapag daw if payment is involved, it shall be filed and paid on the authorized agent bank. Saan? Located in the Revenue District Office or large taxpayers district office where such taxpayer is required to register. What if walang accredited bank? So, pag ganon, saan natin siya ipapile? I-file mo na lang sa Revenue Collection Officer. So, si RCO, yung Revenue Collection Officer natin, mag-i-issue siya ng revenue official receipt upon payment of the tax. What if hindi naman or walang payment na involved? As in, magpa-file lang tayo ng VAT return. So, if no payment is involved, kaya natin siya ipapile. I-file mo lang siya dun sa RDO natin. O yung LTDO. Yung RDO or LTDO na merong jurisdiction over the registered address of the taxpayer. So, ibig sabihin, kung nasa kabanatuan ka, and nakaregister yung business mo dito sa kabanatuan, kinuha mo yung TIN number mo, nagpa-register ka dito sa RDO sa kabanatuan, then dun mo din ipa-file yung VAT return mo. So, let's talk about naman yung 5% creditable tax withheld by the government. Saan daw ba natin siya ipa-file? Tsaka saan natin siya babayaran? So, sabi daw, yung ating government or any of its political subdivisions, instrumentalities, or agencies, including GOCCs, were required to withhold creditable VAT, shall use the monthly remittance return of value added tax withheld. So, 5% creditable VAT withheld. So, it is the BIR form number 1600 VT for filing and remittance for the amount withheld. However, kapag daw gumagamit ng EFPS, they should use BIR form number 1600. Sa mga gumagamit ng EF or electronic FES. Kasi daw, hindi available yung BIR form number 1600 BT dun sa EFES natin. At the same time, yung government and any of its political subdivisions, instrumentalities, or agencies, including GOCCs, we are required to withhold creditable VAT, shall issue BIR form number 2307. Ano yun? Certificate of Creditable Tax Withheld at Source. So, depende na lang kung purchase of goods or purchases of services. So, kung alphanumeric tax code tayo, yung kung magkakaroon tayo ng purchase of goods, ang gagamitin nating alphanumeric tax code or ATC will be WV010. Pag naman nag-purchase tayo ng services, ang ATC ang gagamitin natin will be WV020. So, bakit ba kailangan natin makakuha or dapat magkaroon tayo ng BIR, makapag-file ng BIR form 2307? Pag kasi hindi natin nakuha yon, hindi natin makikredit or hindi mo makukuha yung related na input VAT doon. Or the input VAT, but rather the VAT credit. Kasi ba kanina, nung solve tayo ng problem 13, sabi natin, yung 5% na withheld, pwede siyang makredit or maibawas doon sa output VAT natin para makuha yung total VAT payable. So, kung walang na-file na BIR form 2307, then hindi natin pwedeng i-credit or ibawas yung withheld nating 5%. So, ganun yung importance ng BIR form 2307 natin. So, sabi daw, filing and remittance of VAT withheld. So, filing and remittance of VAT withheld should be made. Sorry, pangat na sulat ko. Should be made on or before the 10th day. 10th day following the end of the month. Tapos, in page 321, sinabi dito yung invoicing and accounting requirements. So, ano ba dapat makita do sa invoice natin? So, sabi, based sa ating section 113A ng tax code, pinaprovide niya na si VAT registered person should issue VAT invoice or VAT official receipt. So, kailan yung VAT invoice? For every sale, barter, or exchange of goods or properties. Kailan naman tayo mag-i-issue ng VAT official receipt? Then, kapag nagkaroon tayo ng list of goods or properties, or for every sale, barter, or exchange of services. So, what if meron tayong VAT and non-VAT transaction? So, si VAT registered taxpayer, pwede niyang ilagay sa isang resibo. But, he must indicate anong transaction doon yung pertaining yung anong transaction doon, yung subject sa VAT, ano naman yung mga transactions na exempt sa VAT. O kaya, kung ano doon yung mga transactions na subject sa zero rated. What if, ma'am, ayaw po nung taxpayer, VAT registered taxpayer, na pagsamahin lang sa isang resibo. Kasi po, parang masyado pang hassle since kailangan mong i-indicate kung ano doon yung transactions sa VAT exempt, ano yung subject sa VAT, ano yung subject sa zero rated. Pwede namang gawin is gumawa tayo ng separate invoices or official receipts for each type of transactions. So, yung resibo na to, it pertains to all transactions subject to VAT. Pero syempre, kailangan ilagay mo doon na subject siya sa VAT. Kapag naman mayroon tayong transactions na VAT exempt, kailangan nakalagay doon na nakalagay sa resibo or receipt, VAT exempt siya. Pag naman nagkaroon tayong transactions kung saan subject siya sa zero rated or 0% yung kanyang output VAT, then kailangan mo na i-indicate na zero rated yung sale na yon. So, sa page 322, sinabi sa atin yung mga information na nakapaloob doon sa ating VAT invoice or VAT official receipt. So, bakit ba importante na kailangan kumpleto yung nakalagay doon sa ating VAT invoice or VAT receipt? So, yung reason kasi is, kung ikaw yung buyer and nakareceive ka ng invoice and official receipt na hindi kumpleto yung details. So, pag ganon, hindi mo makiklaim yung input VAT. Like I said, input VAT is a deduction doon sa ating VAT payable. Pinapalit niya yung VAT payable na nakokolekta ni government. That's why, mahigpit pagdating si government pa sa pag-claim ng input VAT. So, kung may kulang na information, nakita yun ni BIR, anong gagawin niya? Disallowed yung pag-claim mo ng input bat. Ma'am, paano gagawin namin? Kung nakareceive kami ng resibo or invoice na kulang, pwede po ba namin baguhin? Hindi. Bawal yon kasi that will be considered as falsification of document. Ano kailangan mong gawin? Ibalik mo ulit sa seller. Ibalik mo, tapos ipabago mo. Kung may kulang, sabihin mo na kulang po, kailangan ilagay nyo to, ganyan-ganyan. Para at least kompleto yung information na nakalagay sa invoice or receipt na makukuha mo. And kompleto siya, andun na sa'yo yung assurance na talagang makaka-claim ka ng input bat. What if nagkaroon tayo ng consequences? Nagkaroon tayo ng error regarding sa pag-issue natin ng invoice or official receipt. Ano yung magiging consequences natin? Of issuing erroneous invoice or official receipt. So, punta muna tayo sa non-VAT registered. So, paano dyan nagkakaroon ng erroneous or paano nagkakaroon ng error sa pag-issue niya ng OR or ng invoice? So, ginawa ng non-VAT registered sa resibo or sa invoice, after ng TIN number niya, nakalagay doon na VAT siya. Para may word na VAT. So, andun yung parang iisipin na, baka VAT registered to. Di ba sabi natin, non-VAT registered siya. So, parang nagkaroon siya, or parang nagkaroon siya ng parang nag-create siya ng expectation doon sa naka-receive ng invoice or ng OR na VAT registered siya. Kasi yung TIN number niya may kasunod na word na VAT. Pero hindi naman talaga siya VAT registered. So, error yon. So, ano yung magiging consequences nun? Pag ganon, masasubject siya sa output VAT as if na para talaga siyang VAT registered. Again, ang term natin, as if VAT registered. Pero hindi talaga siya VAT registered. And since hindi siya VAT registered, wala siyang privilege ng VAT registered. So, ano yung privilege niya? Ano yung privilege ng VAT registered? Yung pag-claim ng input VAT. So, ang penalty niya, masasubject siya sa 12% na output VAT, pero hindi siya makaka-claim ng input VAT. So, yun na yung penalty, plus 50% na surcharge. What if ang error naman, or nakagawa ng error, na error is yung VAT registered. So, paano naman siya nagkakaroon ng error sa pag-issue ng invoice or OR? So, nangyayari naman dito, yung invoice or OR na in-issue niya, nagbenta siya ng VAT exempt goods. Pero hindi niya in-indicate na VAT exempt sale yun. Then, magiging liable siya sa output VAT. Again, nagbenta siya ng VAT exempt goods, pero hindi niya pinakita sa kanyang OR or sa kanyang invoice na VAT exempt sale yun. So, pag ganun, ang presumption na doon is as if nagbenta siya ng goods subject to VAT. So, dahil doon, ang mangyayari, magbabayad siya ng 12% output VAT. So, in both cases, if the invoice or receipts contain the required information, the purchaser shall be allowed to recognize an input tax credit. And lastly, let's proceed with the power of the commissioner to suspend the business operations of a taxpayer. So, sabi daw, si VAT commissioner or his authorized representative is hereby empowered to suspend the business operations and temporarily close the business establishment of any person for any of the following violations. So, in case ng VAT registered, kapag nagkaroon ng failure sa issue or receipts or invoices, nagkaroon din ng failure sa pagpa-file ng value-added tax return as required under Section 114, and nagkaroon ng understatement of taxable sales or receipts by 30% or more of his correct taxable sales or receipts for the taxable quarter, then grounds yon para ipa-close ni commissioner yung business or ipa-close or ipa-suspend rather yung business operations ng taxpayer. At the same time, yung another grounds natin, kapag nagkaroon ng failure of any person to register as required under Section 236, magkakaroon ng temporary closure yung establishment. So, gano'n siya katagal? So, it will not, yung duration will be not less than 5 days and shall be lifted only upon compliance with whatever requirements prescribed by the commissioner in the closure order.